Jot down our address, CRN, Post Office Box 433, Sunland, California, 91041. That's CRN, Post Office Box 433, Sunland, S-U-N-L-A-N-D, Sunland, California, 91041. Jot down a note, send it to us. We'd love to hear from you at CRN Digital Talk Radio.
Airing on over 200 affiliates across America, this is Tim Connolly's Winning Strategies. Call now with your questions at 1-800-336-2225 or email talk@winningstrategies.net. Now, here's Tim Connolly.
And we're back live with Mike King and Gary Cella. Just got my economy.com assessment of these retail sales numbers, and this is kind of ugly. Total retail sales did rise 0.4% in April, but it looks like it's poised for a downward revision. Core sales fell 0.2% over the month, first decline since December after a 0.7% increase in March. 7 out of 13 retail sectors showed a drop in growth. According to the data, motor vehicle sales increased 0.5%. However, reports from auto manufacturers show vehicle sales this month slipping from 11.77 million in March to 11.2 million in April. So, Mike, you know, this issue of a double dip possibility, it could happen.
But sales are still buoyant. I mean, you can't expect...
Mike, they're not buoyant. They're coming off the worst retail sales year in history. How can you say buoyant when last year was actually negative on retail sales, and this is only a 0.4% increase? How's that buoyant?
They're up 7-8 months in a row. So, I mean, it can't go up every month.
I got it, but Mike, you're coming off of a comp of a negative year. I mean, it's easy to make it look, but that's not buoyant. I mean, if you took the 2 years as a baseline, I wonder if it's anywhere close to even where it was. I would bet you it's not. I would bet you that if you took into account the drop last year and these increases, we're still not where we were in 2008. So I just would disagree with you about describing it as buoyant. The other thing is I've been doing a little test, and Gary, you and I talked about this a while back. Gary had an idea for a contest. And he said, I would like to have a contest where we go out there and survey all of our listeners that are in business for themselves or are actually in a hiring position in the companies they work in, and actually ask them, given all the jobs that the administration says they have created or saved, and find out how many they're actually hiring. And so, Gary, what I did was in the last 2 weeks while I was traveling, every business person I saw, I asked them if they were hiring. Not one single one was hiring.
And actually, what I thought would be interesting is to find one person, just one person that can say with certainty, my paycheck comes directly on account of the stimulus money. I started.
Oh, well, wait a minute, Gary. I can find you 17,000 new jobs out of that. They're all the IRS.
For the government, though.
It's all the IRS agents that are being hired.
That's true. That is very, very true. But I thought somebody in the private sector because then the follow-up question to that would be, well, what are you going to do when the stimulus money runs out? Will that person be laid off? And if so, when? And you know something? I also did a really impromptu survey just asking people like my brother that has retail stores. He laughed at me. He was like, what are you talking about? He goes, the stimulus money somehow goes and disappears in the vapors of the air. It never actually makes it down to the mom and pop shop that hires the person who comes in off the street and asks to fill out an application and is looking for a job. It just doesn't happen. You see signs on the road that say, we have them here in Connecticut. It'll say,
yes, this funded by the American Recovery Act.
Yeah, exactly. Well, sure.
It's the same road it was before.
Yeah, it's got the same potholes in it, except now they're on the left side of the street, not the right side.
Yeah, we graduated my daughter, actually. She did the accomplishment herself from Ole Miss last weekend. And Ole Miss has this beautiful 4-lane boulevard that's the main street down Oxford called Jackson. And Jackson is very well maintained, very nice. And suddenly, this year, signs have sprung up. This construction job made possible by the American Recovery and Act. And I look around, there's nothing different. So where's the money going?
Well, the money's a payoff to the unions, so they would vote Democratic. So the unions get money, and what they do with it, who knows? But, I hate to sound cynical, but,
yeah.
How many hardware stores or stationery stores or local mom and pops actually got that money?
Gary, this issue of hiring is so important, and Houston has been the bright spot in the country in terms of actual job growth and in terms of its basic economy, not crashing like the other major cities. But now, this whole thing, not just with the Gulf, but restructuring, we're losing a lot of jobs here. So we're going to be taking a break. After the break, we have a very interesting interview coming. Doug Inkley, the senior wildlife biologist for the National Wildlife Federation, will be talking about the Gulf oil spill and all those ramifications. So we'll be right back after these messages on Winning Strategies with Doug Inkley.
The Great American Outdoor Trails Radio Magazine on CRN Digital Talk, CRN2, every Saturday morning with co-host Jim Ferguson, me, Trav, at 7